So before we start Parashat Matot, I mean, there's a lot of bad things happen in the world today. The whole issue with the ground campaign and the plane being shut down of the sky is really terrible. So I think we should all pray for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to give us a sechel, the brains, the intellect, the wisdom to erase the word war and desire for it, and it should really help us bring peace to this world. Well, Parashat Matot deals with human desire and different ways to overcome them and how to educate for proper virtues, of proper values. When a person makes a neder, makes a vow, he needs to understand that the basics for that, the foundation of that vow, is human desire. We desire things, and as the Rambam writes in Halachot Nedarim, Mi shenadar nedarim, he who made vows in order to straighten up his ways and to fix his ways, that is a good thing. Harei ze meshubach. Keitzad, what are we talking about? If a person was a big eater, he had big desire to eat, and he says, you know what, I'm not going to eat meat, because I see meat, I get out of control. So I'm not going to eat meat for a year or two. Or mishaya shoge bayayin, somebody who used to drink a lot. And here he says wine. I would use the word alcohol, forbidding himself from drinking alcohol for a long time, or made a vow to never again to be drunk. This is one of the most repulsive things, and so on and so forth. Or somebody who had a desire for money and gifts, or somebody who was very arrogant about his looks. He was very vain, and he made a neder. This is what we call avodah l'shem. This is appropriate. That's what Chachamim says regarding nedarim, that are siag lepreshut. Vows are gateways for being a little bit removed from this world. So in that spirit, we could say that every individual should be a judge for himself in order to overcome his own desires. And this is, in a way, the connecting thread between the different topics of Parashat Matot. So we'll start with this and we'll finish with something else, but we'll see. So those basic desires that a person needs to, in a way, first of all, become aware that he has them, and to be wise enough to fight against. If you look at this, excuse my voice, it's allergies. The revenge in which God had commanded Moshe to take from Midian was in a way a reaction for the desire of the Jews to the daughters of Moab. They liked them. So, and in a way, coming back from the war, those soldiers, the fighters, had failed when they revived. They let the women in which they made them to stumble, they left them alive. As Rashi writes, hen hine magid shayu makirin otan, right? They used to say, oh, you see this woman? You see this woman? That woman is that this guy, he made the avarah with her. So-and-so sinned with this woman. So they recognized them, so they revived them. And later on, Bnei Israel failed with their desire to use the looting from this war. Kadosh Baruch Hu said, don't leave anything. Therefore, we need to have a commandment of how to kosher those vessels in order to make it appropriate for us to use. And that is, in a way, the reason why we keep on toveling new stuff that was made in, not by a Jew, because we need to understand there's a certain matter of boundaries, and we desire that, and we fail all the time. The pattern is identical. And we haven't changed much because we haven't learned from that. So, technically speaking, if we're talking about midoraita, any kli, any vessel, as we call she'eino ben yomo, that was not used within the day, midoraita, you can use it. So maybe here we can understand when we talk about the inyan of giving half to Hashem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu took tax from them, say half has to be for me, and the korban, or whatever they have to give back from the jewels and the jewelry of Midian, they had to give it back. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to teach them that it's not all theirs because you took it by war. You should not have taken this all together. But now that you took it, you have to give a part to Hashem and the rest to the rest of the people. It's not yours. And those who are pekudim on the tzava, those who were in charge, the generals who were in charge of the army, learn from all of this, and they understand that we need to overcome somehow and to atone for what made us fail so much with Moab. First it was their women, then it was their possessions and the looting and the need to keep it to yourself. You see how it goes. We all fail with this all the time. So, as Rashi says, lechaper al hirur alev shel benot Midian, to atone for what they thought about, even in their hearts, about the ladies, the women of Midian. Therefore, they dedicated those jewels of Midian to Hashem. And regardless of that, at the end of the parashas, there's another example of chasing after desires, and this one is redifat mamon, money. The Bnei Reuven and the tribe of Reuven, the tribe of Gad, and half of the Shevet HaMenashe preferred to stay and to settle down not in the promised land. Say, listen, we have a lot of sheep, we have big herds, there's a lot of grass here. We want to stay here. And they stayed. You're so close. We always wonder about what we spoke about last week, about how Kadosh Baruch Hu did not allow Moshe Rabbeinu to get in. And we say, oh, Moshe Rabbeinu. Here you have these people, 2.5 tribes. You can go in. You can have your share. You're so close, but no cigar. It's fascinating. Why? They were completely distorted with what they saw, what they thought is their values. Their values were wrong. Completely wrong. And that's what we do all the time. We make this mistake all the time. I'll show you towards the end. Be'ezrat Hashem. And on the difference between the land between one side of the Yarden to the other side of the Jordan River, we can learn from what Yeshua said. Ve'ach im tzemea eretz achuzatchem. If that land that you're going to be is not pure, is impure. The other side of Eretz Israel is impure. Ivruna lachem el eretz achuzat Hashem. Come back to the Holy Land, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose to dwell. Why don't you want to come back? HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself brought himself to the land. It's not like today. If the Beit HaMikdash would be built today, b'mira b'yameinu amen, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings His Shekhinah back to Eretz Israel, how could we live outside of the land? By you living outside of the land, you're saying, guess what? I don't care. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to go to Israel, let him go. I'm staying here in America. It's good here. I mean, listen, America is a beautiful country. Nobody would ever argue that. It's a beautiful place. Okay, but God is there, that's where I'm going to be. There's different values. We're not talking about beauty. We're not talking about size. We're talking about different scale of values. And we fail. And Rabotai, we fail every day. I'll show you how we fail every day on this. Remember this point. It's fascinating. It's simply fascinating. And Rav here says a person who makes a neder removes himself, ma'atik atzmo, from this time, from the present to the future. From the present to the future. He removes himself to a period of time that didn't really happen yet. And of course, this is one of our biggest problems, because we either live in the future, I'm looking for something in the future. I'm looking for retirement, I'm looking for something to happen, to finish school, I'm looking forward to do this, or I'm stuck in the past, talking about the good old days all the time. Remember how it was, remember the Alamo. Glory days of the past. Well, I'm completely ignoring my present, and by doing so, practically you never have a life. When you live in the future, or reminiscing on the past, you have no life, because you have no present. Remember that, right, Sam? So, he said, "Umechayev atzmo b'ma sheyeh alav la'asot bevoo hazman." A person makes a commandment to himself, or an obligation to himself, to do what he's going to do when the time will come. Not now, then I'm going to do it. And this is in a way, the sin of making nedarim, of making vows. It's not so simple to make a vow, and one should refrain himself from making a vow. It's enough for a person to know, or to try to figure out how to live his life, how to make his path straight, and every single moment of the present. It's enough. Right now you are not doing right. Right now you are not living your life. Right now you're doing things you should not be doing. Try to first figure out what you're doing now, instead of thinking about what you're going to do in the future. Because people will build castles in the air. You know what happened for castles that were built in the sand? Huh? You know what happened?
Sand.
No. They all wash into the sea eventually. You know who said that? You don't know?
No.
Jimi Hendrix. You guys don't know nothing. You never heard of Jimi Hendrix?
Who's that?
No.
Yeah.
No, it's impossible.
I don't know who he is.
Go find out when you go home. Go find out who Jimi Hendrix is. Listen to the song Castles of Sand. Castles made of sand. It's exactly what happens. You work hours, you build the castles of sand, or you build structures of ice, and comes the sun, all melts down. And that's what we do. And this is, in a way, an ivelet. It's absolutely sheer stupidity to make a vow on things that are not going to make any difference to you whatsoever. I'm never going to go on a mountain again. That's stupidity. Why would you make this vow? Because you were in bad shape. So instead of making vows, get into shape. Get into the zone. Out of zone, yeah. But if we're going to ask really what's so bad about a neder, you'll see, and this is a point. What we always say, tomorrow I'll start a diet. Tomorrow I'll I'll stop smoking. Tomorrow I'll do this, and so on and so forth. Or really this year comes New Year's, I'll make a resolution, I'm going to exercise seriously, I'm going to get up in the morning, I'm going to run, I'll lift weights, I'll do martial arts, the whole entire thing. Or tomorrow, tomorrow, Rabbi, I promise you, I'm a new man. It's a new man. Tomorrow morning, I'm getting up early. I'm getting on, not only on time, I'm getting up early. I come to minyan on time, right? We heard the stories. It's a new man, Rabbi, I'm a new man. Or I'm going to stop drinking. Or I'm going to start taking myself seriously for a change. When we don't make our promises, that's the problem. Inside of us, something happens. And inside of me, there is a gap that opens up. I make a promise, I didn't do it. That opens up a little bit. I make another promise, I didn't do it, opens you up a little further more. I make another promise, I didn't do it, it all falls apart. Inside, I fall apart. So the question is why? If we want to understand that, we need to understand what happens. When we talk, this is why it's very important to watch out what you say and how you talk and who you talk and so on and so forth. Our words, a power of speech, is not just a collections of sounds and tunes that is being thrown out into space. We all know the story of Lashon Hara, right? To the point of like maybe obsession that we have, right? Lashon Hara, we go on because your words basically our sound goes from one side of the universe to the other side of the universe. The cosmos has its own sound. The sun makes noise. I don't know if you saw it. They can't see into the sun, so they record the noise that comes from the sun. However, in such a low frequency, the human ear cannot listen to it. So if you take like 40 days of noise that the sun makes, and you condense it into 5 seconds, you hear like a humming, like this humming voice. Our world, our planet, also generates sound. And the sound is mainly generated by us. And that sound goes out throughout the universe. It's our voice, our words create a reality. That's why I tell you all the time. If you're going to tell your kid, Bezat Hashem, you're all going to have kids. If you're going to tell your kid, you're stupid. You just labeled him and made him stupid. Now don't expect him to do anything smart because you just label him to be stupid. So, okay. So when he does something dumb, and you tell him, why did you do so? Don't be surprised, what he should do if he will tell you, well, what are you on? You call me stupid. I'm doing stupid things. What do you want me to do? Right? And that word carries over the world. And from our world, it goes out. So, but the neder, the vow in which was not fulfilled, words were not connected into an action, becomes destructive. Why? Because, again, speech creates reality. If I am a positive person and I'm creating positivity around me, I'm creating a reality of positiveness. If I'm being negative, it's just everything around me will be negative. I'm creating this reality. And at every moment, you can choose to change your reality based on how you determine it. Is a lousy day? It's a good day. What is this today? So when a person says he's going to do something and he's not doing it, he creates an internal conflict inside of him. It's a contradiction, internal contradiction. And every statement like that creates an imprint into the human soul that is very hard to remove it. Many times you're going to tell yourself, I'm such a loser, I can't keep a promise even to myself. How many times I said I'm going to change it, and I went back to it. I'm not going to do this, I went back to it. I'm not going to do this. I give up on myself already. How many times it happened to us? When I don't believe in my own words, you know how it is when you see a person that lied to you 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and every time you catch him, right? He's going to tell you, no, I'm going to say, okay. You do the same thing to yourself. You don't believe your own words. That's why you don't get into school, you don't do the things, that's what happens when you convince yourself of something that you really don't want to do. Pick up a spouse that you don't want, or pick up a job that you don't want, or a field that you don't want. Going to a field, to pick up a major in school, to become a professional in a profession that you don't really want, but rather you convince yourself you want, creates a stress point inside of you. Why? Because you say you want it, but inside you don't. And that's why you fail. You're not going to get, what's the highest in, you're not going to get 700 on your LSATs if you hate law. You're not. Or you're not going to score 45 on the MCATs if you hate medicine. And if you get, 19 on your MCAT, you're not supposed to be a doctor. Go become a graphic designer, whatever you want to be. Okay, sorry, accountant. That's it, it's very simple. You're wasting your time. And you get more frustrated, and you're more frustrated with yourself. Usually you tend to blame God for that. He didn't help me. Well, he's trying to give you a message, it's not for you. Listen, you're a blockhead. What can you do, Go work with blocks and cinder blocks. Be a builder. Who said you have to be a doctor? Who said everybody has to be a doctor? Who said everybody has to be a dentist? Who said everybody has to be a lawyer? Or a pharmacist? You could become something else. Become, a flight instructor. Find out what you really want. That creates a point inside of you. You fall apart. Because you go about the prestige of the job, not about what you really want. You might go to Columbia Law because you want to be a lawyer. I'm going to go to Columbia Law. Not only you don't get in, they throw you out of there. And even if you got in somehow, because your aunt, does some kind of work there, she's a janitor or whatever she is, she's able to get you in, some kind of a mafia you got. You can't even stay a day because you don't know what they want. You can't even spell your name right. Get in reality. Learn how to say what you mean. Your inside, your words is a reflection of your inside. And when your words don't reflect who you are, what you feel inside, you know it. And if you deny it, it'll hurt you. And when I feel, as much as I know, or I feel that the other person is lying to me, other people feel also when I lie to myself. As a result of that, truthful people will stay away from me, and I'm going to be surrounded by liars. That's the way it works. So, we need to remember that all those words that were said here were said to what we call Rashi Matot, the generals, right? And they are the leaders. And a leader, regardless of his political positions or point of view and so on and so forth, could never make promises in which he's not going to keep. Because when he said, I will do this, and he doesn't, that creates a friction in the nation on a national level, because he's the leader. So for example, when George Bush Sr. said, read my lips, no more taxes. That's the whole thing. No more taxes. And he raised taxes. It brought the country into a recession.
Yeah, well, most presidents don't keep what they say. They say this, they say that, say that. When they're in office, they go play golf and, you know.
Really, I did not sleep with this woman.
Yes.
Yes, I know. She slept with me, I didn't sleep with her.
Exactly.
Right? Or for example, change. Yes, we can. We changed for what? I didn't tell you what we changed. I didn't promise you change. Yeah, from good to terrible. That's a change.
That's true. Big change.
Okay, at least it's truthful.
Yeah, but I'm sure
But the problem as a leader, you cannot do that. If you said something, you do it. If not, you break away your nation. Look at any country where, I mean, that's why dictatorship sometimes was not so bad. I mean, because our politicians are not leaders. What you call leaders are not leaders. They lie to you. You know when the politician comes and he promises you, I'll do this and I fight for that. You know that everything he say he will, he won't. That's terrible. Look, that's why the whole world falls apart. We don't have politicians as leaders anymore. They're like entertainers. They're celebrities. It's all about rating. As much as the president gets rating, a talk show host gets rating, or a sitcom gets rating, it's all about rating. It's celebrity. A leader needs to say what he really means. And if I don't want to do that, I'm going to say I'm not doing it. Now, and again, that shatters the whole functioning of a nation. A nation cannot function. Look, in the last whatever amount of years we had here, you know, all over the world, there were very few leaders who actually said something and they actually did it. I don't know. Maybe the only one is Putin. I don't really like the guy, but you know, gotta give him credit for that. He said he'll do something, he did it.
Like what?
Whatever he said.
He's a beast.
Whatever. Listen, you know, he want to bring Russia back into the center stage of world politics. He did. Do I agree with his way? No, he didn't ask me. You know, but he did. Look at Arik Sharon. I'm never going to give a piece of no. What do? You get more land than everybody else. Menachem Begin, more than everybody else. Usually that's the way it works. So how is this has to do with the last mission of Moshe Rabbeinu? The last mission of Moshe Rabbeinu is really to avenge the Midianim, the Midianites. The Midianim are bad people. Anashim Ra'im, they are bad people. Any place that there is a fight, there is an argument, they are inside. And there are people like this, you know?
Are they alive today?
No, but they're a part of their DNA is inside of all of us. You know, you have some people, two people are fighting, you hear a guy, guys, there are fights, you know, they didn't fight yet, oh, fight, you know. Okay, now we got to fight. There's some people always, you know, what, you heard what he said to you? You heard what he said to you? Oh my goodness, how can he do this? Unbelievable. Okay, round one, let's go. There are some people, always, there are some people who do it by words. You know what he said about you. It's Lashon Hara, but you know, whatever it is, always give you half the truth, half a lie, and so on and so forth. They do this all the time. There's some people who do this all the time. So, you know, and sometimes people just do it just, you know, we're a little bored, so let's make some more action. You know, it's boring action. Yalla Matot in Israel they say. Yalla, fight, let's go. Crazy house, right? So The same thing here. The Midianim joined the Moavim in a war against Bnei Israel without any reason. What was their reason to go to a fight? It wasn't their territory. I understand Moab, they were coming like this, they were afraid. But why the Midianim? Midian is in Saudi Arabia. What do you care? So, their hatred to Am Yisrael was so great, they simply hated the Jews, that they were willing even to prostitute their wives and their women so they will become a stumbling block for Am Yisrael. I mean, you really have to hate somebody so much in order for you to do so. In Hebrew we say Anshei Riv u'Madon. Riv u'Madon, Madon mishum Midian. People of quarrel and argument. These are Anshei Midian. If you take the numerical value of Midian, is 114. 114 is the same numerical value of Gehenna, of hell. People like this around you will always bring you to hell. That's why we are the opposite. We are commanded to be like the students of our own. Not only a person who likes peace, a person who pursues and chases after peace. We have to bring peace in the world. So when you see a Jew that is always trying to cause arguments, frictions, you gotta wonder what's going on with his DNA. He got something from Midian. That's not a Jewish quality. A Jewish quality is pursue peace, chase after it, not make fight. And each one of us has a Midiani inside of us. Midianite. And what does it mean? Midian also means moded. Moded is to measure. Each one of us has this entity inside of us that's measure all the time, compares myself to others by measuring, by comparing all the time. Not only, I'm not connected to myself, mishum chibu, because I'm connected to who I am. I'm connected to everything around me because I measure myself to someone. So therefore, I would measure my success in life based on somebody who what I would call successful, and therefore imitate his life. If that person who is successful, is rich, then in my eyes, so-called made it, and he drives a BMW 640 convertible, therefore I am not considered to be a successful person unless I'm going to drive one like this or better. But God forbid if you would see me in a Toyota Corolla, I did not make it. Ask any doctor who will tell you that. That's why medicine looks the way it looks. It's not about how good of a doctor could I become. It's all about what the other doctor has. Why, he plays golf. I got to play golf. Why? Because when doctors meet together, they got to talk about golf. I know my kid's pediatrician. He doesn't know golf from I don't know what. He learns Torah, and he's a heck of a doctor. If you want to know an example of a doctor, that's him, Dr. Horowitz, my kid's pediatrician. I wish all the doctors would be like him. Tell you that. A wonderful man. A true Jew and a true example of what a doctor should be. He doesn't play golf, and he doesn't drive a Porsche. And he's a good doctor. But it's like those people who always take pictures of themselves next to shorter people. So they always look tall, right? Or they will stand in a position like that. Or the rich person who is going to visit his unemployed friend in order so he can feel good. Listen, see, we went together, tells his son, we went together to school, man. Misken is a misken. Oh, look at daddy. You know, aren't you grateful? He could have been your father, right? Why are you going to visit your friend? Give him a job. If you're so good, if you're real, go give him a job. Why are you going to visit him? You know, I really feel bad for you. I feel bad for you. I'm sure you'll come out of it. Well, give me a job. Right? How many people we have like that? Oh, you're so smart, you'll make it. You'll make it on your own. Don't ask for anything from me. Or there's girls that, there's always has to take, there's always, it's fascinating, especially when you're young, but sometimes when you're older also, you always see this like pretty girl, or always this ugly girl next to her. She won't go with a beautiful girl. She'll go with an ugly girl. Why? So she will look beautiful. That's a horrible quality. It's a horrible quality.
Same thing with their men too.
Of course, you just went to the gym a little bit. You lost about 5 pounds, right? You're not going to put a workout to look like Tom Cruise playing basketball, volleyball at the Top Gun, right? All muscles ripped like this, Vin Diesel arms, right? You're going to take a guy with a belly like this, skinny little arms, and say, whoa, man, you look good. Yeah, you're right. Next to him, I look good. Right? That's what the Gemara comes and tells us. Next to Chava, the woman of Adam, Kol Hanashim Kofot, all the women are like monkeys. So relax, it's okay. Or people that tell you, at your age, I did this. At your age, I did that. You are so much behind in life. At your age, I did this. Why are you telling me that? To show me how much I didn't achieve or how much you did achieve. What are you trying to do? And you know what? If you want to tell me that, it's not a problem. I charge $75 for 45 minutes of therapy. Come tell me how great you are and give me the money when you go. That's it. What are you trying to do here? You feel so unaccomplished that you have to put me down and making yourself up. You know what? Go see a shrink. Go see a shrink. Why you need to measure yourself according to somebody else? People tell me, Rabbi, I'm 23 years old. People my age are already married. People my age are already this. People my age are already that. You came to this world alone. You're going to be put in a casket alone. You might as well live your life on your own time, on your own beat. When the doctor told your mother you're going to have a kid in 2 months or 2 weeks, right? You came 4 weeks after. Why you felt like it? And that's what it is. That Midianite quality inside of all of us, it's a quality, a midah, which really impures our heart and impures our soul, and it really makes us spiritually weak. And that's what causes us to want to be bad, mean, bad to the bone. I'm not bad to the bone, I'm good to the bone. Oh, we want to be strong and powerful. We measure our power on our external. I have weights, I have this. Not that I'm strong internally. From a spiritual strength. When the tough, when the going gets tough, the toughness run away. With all your big muscles, with all your gyms and all this thing, all those gyms are full of weak people who are so weak that they need to be buffed up with muscles. But as soon as hardship comes, they crack like this, like a branch, a dry branch. But you want the guy who is like this, skinny, and say, that's not a big deal. Let's go. Okay, one thing after the other. Let's go. You want to be strong internally. But you think you're going to be like 70 years old, you're still going to have muscles like this, 18-inch biceps. You're not. I don't know if that's a lot altogether, but never mind. Do you look at the things wrong? And Moshe, which symbolizes to us the true man, what we could be, or we always measure ourselves to Moshe, sends to send this, to kill this enemy. And the way he comes to kill his enemy is very interesting. We know, we're going to finish in 5 minutes. We know HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe, listen, Moshe Rabbeinu, you're going to die. You're going to die now. That's the end of the story. That's the end of the epic, journey. It comes to an end. You're going to go soon. However, before you go, you can't die unless you're going to go and revenge the Midianim. So let me ask you this. If all of a sudden God comes to you and says to you, listen, you're going to die. However, before you're going to die, you need to go to Social Security, just fill up the forms and sign it. You can't die unless you're going to fill the forms. I say, okay, no problem. I'll be right back. They're going to send to you America Most Wanted to look for you. Yeah, I'm going to go on a trip. I have a lot of friends to say hello to. I didn't establish yet world peace. For all you know, you're going to delay it and live to like 500 years from now. Moshe Rabbeinu says, no. Okay. Need to do it, I'm going to do it. When am I going to do it? I'm going to do it now, not 50 years from now. I'm going to do it now. You know why? What do you learn from this? You learn something amazing from this. And this is how we fail. Moshe Rabbeinu says, this is where I am. I'm standing here, and that's what I need to do. I know what I need to do. This needs to be done. I know all the time what I need to do. And therefore I do it. I know that this is good. I know that this is the right thing to do, and I do it. The problem with us is we know all the time what we need to do. We know all the time what is right and what is wrong. However, we then start become a little bit more philosophical. Well, maybe I shouldn't do that. Or maybe I'll do it in some other time. And then you ask advice from your friend. And he will tell you with his crooked thinking, well, I don't think you should do this. I think you should do that. And I think you should do the other one. And then you do that, and then you never do it. That zrizut, quickness, is an essential part of the spiritual growth. Not to leave, not to procrastinate with something that needs to be done, and you know you need to do it, and that's in front of you, do it now. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a test. You know you need to sit down and learn for your test. You don't have time to go play basketball. You don't have time to go to the gym. Your job right now is to go and learn for your test. You're not going to be a movie star. You're ugly. You're not going to be a model. We already established you're ugly, right? Right now, your job is to learn for the test. You are not so smart, even if your mommy told you you're smart, you still need to learn for your test. So you're going to learn for your test. Well, my friends are playing basketball. And the people say to you, well, you need to have some fun time. You need to breathe out and relax. Okay, that's not a problem. But when you're going to fail the test, I'm going to pass. I don't care. I can't afford this now. On the spiritual growth is the same thing. If I know that the right thing to do is to come here and learn, I'm going to ask you, David, do you think I should come to learn? David said, you're learning a little too much. Why don't you take a day off? Let's come, we play piano. Concerto for one piano and four hands and two noses. You know what is right. When you know what is right and it's in front of you, you need to do it. And there's not even questions asked. And there are not going to be any temptation. The temptation that you have out there, the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, because you made an opening inside of you to come in, and it comes in and it hits you, and you can't stop. You can't stop. You know you need to come to learn. However, every time you make a decision to come to learn, your grandmother calls, your neighbor calls, and all of a sudden you decide to join the Peace Corps. It's not even a question. I need to come to learn. I'm going to learn, that's it. Gym, it's okay, don't worry about it. To go to play basketball, don't worry about it. I played already. I'm not 15 years old. I'm 20, 25, I'm 30. I don't need to play basketball now. When you have a son, play basketball with your son. Right now, you have a job to do. And that's what we fail. Zrizut. Agile, quick. without delay, to know precisely, to recognize what needs to be done to do, even if your life is dependent on it, like Moshe Rabbeinu. And Moshe Rabbeinu tells us that. Because when I fail, when I recognize that I have a job, and my job right now is to do X, that knowing, now that Kadosh Baruch Hu had chosen you to come here and learn, you were chosen from all the friends, from all the people that you went through in school, from everybody. You are the chosen one who were chosen to come and learn. Everybody had the opportunity. They did not choose. When you come to recognize that I was chosen to come here and learn, you recognize that you're special. When you recognize you're special, you don't need anybody to remind you that. You just know it. However, when I forget that I'm special, and I'm acting in this way or the other way, I fall into depression. And then when I'm depressed, comes the tum'ah, impurity. And with the impurity comes idol worshipping. And that is the fight that I have internally inside of me from the side who wants to direct me from the good, from the Torah, to the bad. The Torah tells us and emphasizes that the way for self-restraint, to deal with our desires, whether the desires of myself as an individual, or my family, or anything else, is through one thing, is Torah. That's why Chazal told us, Heve kovea itim la Torah. You have to establish time for the Torah, and when you learn Torah, the world does not exist for you. And you do so bezrizut, you take the shortest way to come, that will be a good start for your life. That will be a life worth living. Shabbat Shalom.